There are hundreds of thousands of products like this name brand toy that I bought for $8, but actually sells on Amazon for over $35. And since I personally started my Amazon reselling business with about $1,500 to my name, I've sold over $5 million since then. So in today's video, I'm going to distill everything I know into one compact video to help you make your first $10,000 in true profit as soon as possible. And I know your time is valuable, so I'm going to jump straight into the computer over here. We're going to break down how to actually find a profitable product. And once we find some profitable items, we're going to talk about how to get ungated or approved to sell those brands. And of course, actually get those shipped into Amazon and get those sold as soon as possible. But the easy way to start sourcing your very first profitable item is to open up an Amazon listing for basically any brand that is a big popular retail store brand. In this case, I've gone to an And1 listing. And1 is actually a brand that's auto-ungated. So basically any new Amazon seller, you can sell this brand right away. And the reason why this is a good starting point is we can actually use this to generate an infinite number of leads using a tool called SellerAmp. If you want to grab a free trial down below so you can follow along with the video, I think that's a great idea, but let's just go ahead and jump in. I'm going to show you how we can turn this one random product, I just pulled up any example by the way, and we can use this to generate an infinite number of leads, right? So I want to open up some of the other third-party sellers on this listing. So you can see this Black Owl store, Prime Core, you can see Berry Mill right here. These are all other third-party sellers like you and I. These people are actually making up over 60% of the sales on Amazon. The vast majority of sales actually goes to third-party sellers like you and I, small businesses, that kind of thing. And when we open up these storefronts, I'm just going to open up this one right here. They've got 50 feedbacks. They've sold a good amount of products on Amazon, but nothing insane. I can see all of the different products that they have already successfully bought and sourced for their Amazon store. So as we're going through here, there's a really good chance we're going to be able to find some other items that are at retail stores. They're at big websites. That example I showed you at the beginning, I actually found at my local retail store, right? There's profitable products all over the place, and I'm going to show you guys how to find them today, right? So as we're looking through the storefront view, you can see a couple useful pieces of information here. So I can see what this product is currently selling for. So this 6-pack of boxer briefs right here is selling for $36 on Amazon. And if I can buy it for about $17, $16.50 or so, I'm going to be able to make enough profit for this to be an interesting product. So in the early days, and whenever you're just figuring out what typical like normal price for things is, you're just going to hit this Google button right here and try to get a feel for just how much stuff costs. Basically, you're going to develop a really weird scale over time to just be able to eyeball things and understand the prices of those products. In the early days, though, just open up as much as you can, get curious. And in this case, I can see this is probably $20 or $19. We need to buy this for $16.60. So let me just show you real quick how this works, right? So the profit's probably not quite going to be there, but there's a chance we're able to create some profit here, right? So we're buying this for, let's just say $20, plugging that into SellerAmp here. By the way, this is after shipping, sales tax, all that good stuff. You can see that is already included. When I go down to the fee calculator, you can see I'm including the inbound shipping cost at about 60 cents a pound. I'm including sales tax on this as well. So yes, this is true profit here. I know how the comments typically get, but we're including all of the actual fees and all that good stuff here. So buying this for $20, let's see, is this the same thing? Make sure it's the same colors and all that. Yeah, so it's the same colors. We're buying this for $20. And the real key to making money with selling on Amazon, and this is where a lot of people will give up, they'll quit, they'll never end up making profit, is you need to go beyond just looking at the retail price of things and being like, all right, there's no profit here, time to move on, right? In this case, I don't think we're gonna be able to create enough profit margin, but anytime you're looking at an item, how can I create profit margin? So coupons, cash back, discounted gift cards is another big one for places like Walmart. So for example, I can go to cardbear.com and I can go in here and I can buy a discounted gift card. So I'll just open up this and see what kind of discounted gift cards are they selling. For example, when I go to GCX, which is a website I buy a lot of kind of discounted money from, I can see I can buy $500 at Walmart and I only pay $460, right? So in this case, we need more than like a 7% discount, but that's the first thing I want to introduce you guys to, right? So minus 7.7% is kind of the margin we can create there. Sweet. So now we're making $2.30. Our ROI is not super great. Typically, I'm trying to make $3 profit and at least a 30% ROI. So in this case, we're going to want to look for something better, basically. But that's the basic process, right? So just Google something. How much does it cost? How much margin can I create? Move on to the next thing, right? Let's check these out. So there's like a 12-pack of these that are, what do we need to buy them for? Potentially $54. And I wonder if this is just people combining 2 packs together, actually. Let's see if we can do that in this case. So we have one with 2 navy ones ones, 2 red ones, 2 black ones. So if we can find that pack, not the right pack there, I assume people are just throwing these together in a pack together. And let's see, it's probably this right here. Let's see, navy. See, does that match to our listing over here? Navy red. Yeah, that looks the same to me. Compression boxers. Let's see. Yeah, those are definitely compression. Another thing we can check is the fabric blend. So let's see, 90% and 10 spandex. So these might be slightly different actually. It seems like it's probably a little bit different there. In this case, just because I'm not 100% certain that's the same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and move on here. Let's see though. So we got some pants. This is another Auto-Ungate brand, by the way. We'll talk about how to get ungated to sell brands if you are not approved to sell certain brands, but selling Auto-Ungated brands is a good place to start. Let's see. So these are some like pants here. Pop open. Usually I just open up as many like different listings as possible. So I see 3 separate listings here. And then this is selling for 20 bucks right there. And so basically, let's see. I think it was pulling up. Yeah. So these are pulling up at like 10 bucks there. See what kind of colors and sizes do we have here? Sweet. So we've got black soot, some of these sizes here. We've got some navy. So lots of different colors here. And this is the black double XL. So this one's not super profitable, but what we can do here is see if any of these other listings are profitable. So this is the other tool you want to have. It's called Keepa. So SellerAmp and Keepa are both 20 bucks a month. That's all the tools I use for product sourcing. You see a lot of like crazy complicated stuff out there. Just keep it simple. SellerAmp and Keepa. These are the 2 tools I've used to source literally $5+ million worth of products. So keep it as simple as possible. Keep that overhead nice and low. And let's see. So I can see the most expensive versions of this pair of pants. So for example, this one is like 21 bucks and all these are like 9 to 11 bucks. I'm just going to throw 11 bucks in there. And you can see some of these are actually a lot more expensive, right? So this is actually $32. That would be very profitable. This one is 35 bucks right now. And this actually has a good history. So you can see on here the price history of a product. Usually I want to buy things that are like nice and consistently profitable. So I can see this actually has a great history for the last like several months of selling for 35, 30 bucks. And all those prices are going to be nice and profitable for us. So let's see. Yeah. So on this one, I see dark navy and yeah, so the XL is in stock. See, it's not crossed out there. So this is $11 and this particular size right now is selling for $32.29. So $32.29. The fees are going to be the same since it's like the same pair of pants basically. And then we also don't forget we can make this even more profitable with that discounted gift card. So minus 7.7%. So that is going to be our true profit on this right here. I would probably buy like 10 units or so to get a nice test order to see how fast this actually sells for our Amazon store. If we're buying 10 units there, that's going to be 90 bucks in potential profit. We can see if there's any more of these that are actually in stock. So this medium navy was like 30 bucks right now. So medium, yeah. So dark navy right there. Yeah, medium navy. So this is $31 right now. In the past, it's been like 25, as low as 21. So let's see, 21 bucks, not quite. We get our money back. But basically, I'm just looking at the past history. So for the last like month or so, it's been like 25 bucks, 27 bucks. So I'll probably grab another 10 units of those. Not quite as profitable, but still definitely pretty interesting. Let's see. So this 3X is also profitable. So yeah, so the 3X is in stock as well. And this is, yeah, it's got a history of being like at least 27 bucks. You can see this is like the past price history of the item. And the lowest it's gone is I think it was 26.50 right there. Yeah, 26.48. That's also nice and profitable. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and probably grab another 10 units of that. So this is a pretty good item that we hit on here, right? So finding several different listings there. Let's see if we can find some variety though. So another thing that I like to do when I'm sourcing for products, let's try to find something that is a brand that you might have to go through the ungating process just so you can see how that actually works as well. And the way I like to do this sometimes is looking at the specific brands that this Amazon seller has already successfully sourced for their store. Let's see. So Pioneer Woman is a brand that a lot of you guys have probably heard of before and probably require kind of special approval from Amazon. Amazon wants to make sure that people aren't selling fake stuff on the platform. So let's see if we can find one of those. So hitting that Google button there, trying to get a feel for what a lot of these cost. Probably from Walmart there. Oh, and this is interesting. Look, so they actually are probably splitting this apart, right? So there's the butter dish and then there's the salt and pepper shakers below it. Interesting. Yeah. So this seller is taking the 2 separate pieces of this item and selling it on 2 different listings. I still don't think it's going to be profitable, right? Because the max cost here is $7. Max cost here is 2. This is like 16 bucks. So we're not going to be able to create enough profit with our discounted gift card, but that's definitely interesting there. Let's see these like spoons here. These are potentially out of stock, but these are profitable. So this would be something you can kind of keep your eyes on. So as you're sourcing items, always make sure you're doing yourself kind of some favors for the future. And so in this case, we know that this isn't quite profitable right now, but we can use the SellerAmp feature to make sure that we remember when this item becomes profitable, right? So what I want to do is I want to go down to the Google Sheets feature, and then you can create these custom Google Sheets, whatever you want. I have custom Google Sheets per holiday. So as you're sourcing, there's no reason to redo work just because it's not Halloween season right now. Whenever you come across a really good Halloween item, you want to have a good catalog of that so that when the season rolls back around, you can just quickly check a Google Sheet and kind of create some profit there. there. So in this case, I'm going to click the add a stock Google Sheet here. And this is just one of those really useful things. Whenever you're running out of ideas, you want to go back and look at some work you already did in the past. So I'm just going to grab that source link and put it right there. So now I have that cataloged. Whenever I'm, like I said, whenever I'm out of sourcing ideas, whenever I want some easy low hanging fruit, I'll go ahead and pop back into items that were out of stock or items that were almost profitable when I looked at it. Those are all really useful things to take advantage of. Let's see if we can find some of these other ones here. We need to buy it for 10. It's selling for 22. Not gonna be able to create enough profit there. Let's see. We need to buy this for $9 right there. Let's see, you're selling like a big set here for like $40. Maybe there's a bunch of different listings that this seller has decided to part it out. I'm not finding much success here. So usually when I'm storefront stalking, I'm just going down different rabbit holes. In this case, it seems like a lot of the prices are a little bit too high. Let me check this out. I've never seen this stuff before. This monkey butt, whatever it is. Like I said, you'll end up selling anything under the sun on Amazon as long as the profit is good. I do not care what we end up sourcing. Let's see. This actually might be interesting. So seems like it probably got some new packaging, but it should still be the same thing here. So All-Star Health, definitely I've bought here before. Let's just make sure it's the exact same thing because this could be profitable though. Let's see. Buy it for $7.89 right there. Let's see it. So another thing to check for with packaging that might be new or different, check the sizes. So this you can see right there is 6 ounces. And what are these sizes from Walmart here? So these are actually 8 ounces. So you'd never really have any customers complaining about that's 8 ounces as well. Let's make sure it's the same thing though. So calamine, soothing relief, anti-friction body powder, anti-friction powder. Yeah, it says all the same stuff and they get more. So I don't really think a customer would be too worried about that. So this is actually a 2-pack for $14. So these are $7 each. And we also get our discounted gift card discount on Walmart. So $6.46, or we can get them from All-Star Health for $6.69. So that is $4.24 profit there. So that's definitely pretty interesting. Just a different category, different type of item. Let's see, are any of these other ones nice and profitable? Is this the same thing here? Let's see. So this is $11.50 or 2. That might not be profitable. We can still check it out though. Let's see. Yeah, so $25 right here. We're not gonna be able to create enough profit probably. So $6.69 times 2. We need like a good coupon or something like that. Another good tool to make sure you have, just like a free one. Capital One Shopping has a Chrome extension that'll find some coupons and stuff. In this case, I don't think there's any coupons going on there. Walmart doesn't run coupons, so no way to really create margin beyond the discounted gift cards there. Let's see, this is $12.50. So we need to buy that for $12.50. $13.95 minus our discounted gift card there. I don't think we're quite there yet. So I was just doing the math. So we're buying that for $12.87 for 2, and we need to buy it for $12.50. So that first one we looked at is honestly pretty good. And another trick we can do to figure out like how fast this item actually sells is going down to the data offers tab. And what this is going to show me is anyone who's already on this listing and basically what their price was over time. So I can get a real feel for, do people actually pay $24 for this item, that kind of thing. And this is actually a great example here. So you see this person's stock count decreasing pretty quickly over time here from 6, and now they're about to sell out. And then I can also see the cheapest that their price has been the entire time they've been in stock is about $24. So this proves that customers actually go on this listing and pay $24 for this item, and that we figured out how to source for about $6.50. So that's just that quick proof that we can want to see in order to actually source some of these items and have the confidence to sell a bunch on Amazon basically. So sourcing your next $100 in profit, $10,000 in profit is literally just a process of repeating that as many times as possible, getting more comfortable with the flow there. But in case getting ungated is still one of those things that's holding you back, let me show you how to get ungated. This is something that I know I didn't know how to get ungated for a year when I got started selling on Amazon, and I wish somebody showed me this. Pretty simple process. Go onto your Amazon seller account, go to catalog up in the top left right here, add product. So that's going to take you to this screen right here. Then I'm just going to paste the ASIN, basically the product ID from that profitable item we just found. Go ahead and click the item. And then right here under condition to sell, I'm going to click new in this case. So for me, I've never really looked at this brand before, but it already says sell this product. So this is something that was able to get auto ungated for my account. If we plug in something like Athletic Works, Stafford, 32 degrees for some accounts, you're also going to see that it's just automatically approved. If I go to a brand that I know I am gated in, for example, like Milwaukee Tools, if I go to new right there, it's going to load for a second and say apply to sell. If it says apply to sell, that still means you can sell this brand. You just have to basically prove to Amazon that you can buy legitimate inventory and you're not buying it from some fake supplier in China, something like that. That's going to take you to this application page right here where you can see we need to submit 10 units. We need to have an invoice from a retailer or manufacturer, that kind of thing. And so in this case, all we would do is make sure you buy at least 10 units. Sometimes it has been saying like 50 or 100, something like that. On those, I've still just been using 10 unit invoices and still having success, by the way. Grab that invoice from whenever you bought it from Walmart, Target, Walgreens, whatever your retailer is. Just make sure that when you buy it, that you're shipping to the address that's on your Amazon seller account. That's the important information they're going to want to verify. And then you'll just drop that file right here. And sometimes Amazon will review it and approve it pretty quickly. It depends on the brand. Seems like certain brands and categories get approved quicker. Some take a little bit longer, but if you ever get any denials, just keep resubmitting that that information. Sometimes it just takes a couple tries to get to an Amazon rep that actually wants to do their job, unfortunately, but you will get approved as long as you're submitting legitimate retail documents, legitimate wholesale invoices, that kind of thing. And then once you verify that you can actually get approved, or you've already gotten approved to sell the products that you've successfully sourced on Amazon, that's where you'll use Boxum. This is the last software that you'll need to get started. Basically, it starts at $50 a month, and it's how you track your profit. It's how you ship products to Amazon. It just saves you a bunch of time. There isn't a way to track how much profit your business is actually making on Seller Central. You can create shipments on there, but it's way slower. So if you value your time as a business owner, you're just going to want a tool like this. Part of running a business is you need to invest in yourself to make some profit in the long run. But once you're actually on Boxum, you're going to start being able to list the products that you've successfully sourced. So go to inventory, list FBA, and then paste the ASIN of the product that you want to list. So in this case, it is that powder we found. We were buying this for, I'm just going to use our All-Star Health thing there. So $6.69. We can punch in our supplier as well, so we can have that information stored. I also like putting a date purchased in here. You can see that's going to create a custom SKU so that I know as I'm looking through and managing my inventory, how long ago did I source that product? What did I pay for it? Can I afford to lower my prices? Do I need to keep my prices high? All that kind of thing. And then we can also go ahead and set an expiration date. Since this is a beauty product, a lot of times the expiration date would be on the packaging. Obviously, I'm just using it as an example, so I'm going to put 2 years out. If you ever can't find an expiration date, by the way, I'll usually just Google the estimated shelf life of that product and just take like a low estimate. Not really going to be an issue. You should be able to sell out of pretty much anything you're buying within a couple weeks, a month, maybe 2 months at the latest. That's the whole point of buying stuff like this that already sells, is there's not really too much risk and stuff like that. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and click. There's an add listing button down there. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then you just repeat that process for as many listings as you want to make. I'm just going to do one with you guys so you can see how it works. And at this point, it's going to send that information to Amazon. So we got to wait a little bit on Amazon to actually receive this information. Once this goes from pending to active, we're going to be able to start adding that to our inventory batch and actually creating a shipment. And while that's getting added to my inventory, I want to talk quickly about how actually Amazon FBA works. Through the process of creating these listings here, we can either ship products directly to customers via FBM. It's a very similar process, just a lot less steps basically. And the benefit to that is when a customer goes and shops, you can literally have an item that you bought today. You went out to the retail store, showed up at your door, listed FBM, and a customer can buy it that same day. So there's a lot of speed to market when it comes to being an FBM seller, but you obviously have to do the shipping yourself out to the customers and the Amazon buy box rotation. So the way that sales are shared on Amazon tends to prioritize FBA sellers. So FBA is what we're going to do right now, where we're taking all these products and we're throwing them into a big box together. Amazon checks them in at their warehouse, and then as those products check in, they're going to start shipping those products out into individual customers as they buy it, right? So it's a little bit more scalable that way. The shipping's also a lot cheaper working with Amazon FBA. Usually it's about 60 cents a pound. We'll see what kind of shipping rates we get with our product example, but just keep that in mind that there's two different ways to sell on Amazon. Neither is necessarily like the best way to sell on Amazon. If you can, as a new seller, do as much FBM as possible. It'll really help you learn how fast products sell. There's no lead times, there's no lag times. You can restock things while they're still cheap. There's a lot of benefits to doing Amazon FBM, so do it if you can. Lots of the fastest growing Amazon sellers are doing both. And then as you scale, you're probably going to want to lean into more FBA. My Amazon business is 99% FBA these days, just because it's a lot more scalable, especially when you're dealing on a 7-figure scale. It'd be pretty hard to package all that stuff up yourself. Once the listing shows active like it does here, go ahead and go back to the home page, click create shipment, and that's going to take you to this page right here. We can go ahead and name the shipment, select our fulfillment type. So if you want to do FBM, you'll list it on Boxum here as well. It's important to do so that you know that your profit's actually going to be properly tracked. As we're storing our items in Boxum, you can track what you paid for the items, you can store the supplier you bought from, the date purchased, all that, just so you kind of have a better handle on what's going on in your business. We're also able to auto set the price based on where the current buy box price is. I like to set it well above the buy box and then lower it down when the item actually checks in. Sometimes prices will go up and you don't want to check it in at an old or lower price, lose out on some profit that way. And then also just go ahead and set your ship from address and make sure you're taking advantage of 2D barcodes as well. This is something that I didn't really know about for a long time in my business, but you have to use a tool like Boxum to take advantage of these. And they're basically just extra barcodes that don't take any work to go on your box labels. We'll generate those through the process here. And when those products check in at Amazon, it helps the Amazon reps at check-in see what's in the box a little bit easier. And for my business and lots of other people who use Boxum, we're able to make sales a couple days faster on average. Just an easy cash flow booster there. Let's go ahead and create our shipment there. And then we're going to go ahead and punch in that ASIN of the product that we just listed on Amazon. Go ahead and click the plus button right there. And we're going to say, hey, in this example, I'm just going to say we bought 50 of these here. For this specific product, just go ahead and set an expiration date. Keep in mind that you can set an expiration date on the SKU level and also on each individual basis. You have to go ahead and set the expiration date for the product, just because sometimes you might want to restock this SKU and the expiration date might have changed. changed basically, right? So we'll go ahead and add that to our shipment right there. That is going to show up right there. Add as many more products as you want. So you can add one product, you can add 100 different products, you can add 1,000 products to your shipment, whatever is simplest for you. In this case though, I'm just going to do a simple example with you guys. Go ahead and continue and submit this to Amazon. And so on step 2, we can see all the different prep that is required. For some items, all you have to do is put an FNSKU label on it. In this case, we'll just go ahead and print those out through box them here. You'll go ahead and get FNSKU labels. You can also use 30 up labels if you just have a standard at-home printer. You don't have to get a special laser printer. I would recommend getting 2x1 FNSKU labels and a Rollo laser printer. At some point, that'll cost you about $220, including the cost of the labels there. You can also just use your at-home printer. You can configure all that in your printer settings. I don't want to get too technical with setting up printers and that kind of stuff in this video. There's plenty of help on the Boxing website if you need help on that. You can also see in this case that this item requires polybagging, basically just throwing all this down into a clear poly bag with a suffocation warning on it. Probably they don't want the powder breaking open and getting all over the belts at Amazon. Makes total sense there. Once you take care of the prep, you can even prep the items as you put them down into each individual box. So go ahead and assign these to our boxes here. So just because we got 25 of these per box, we have 2 boxes like that. And make sure you don't fill your boxes over 50 pounds. Try to get as close as possible though. That'll get you the best per pound shipping rates. And I'm just going to go ahead and save that right there. Once you have everything assigned to your boxes, we're going to go ahead and continue on. When you're making these boxes, you can add multiple different products into each box. By the way, it doesn't have to be one box per type of product. Go ahead and continue and submit this pack group. On step 3, we're going to be able to see all of the different shipping options. So go ahead and set your ready to ship date. In this case, I'm just going to use tomorrow. And with Boxing, I'm also able to see 3 different shipment options. So in this case, I probably want to pick the cheapest one. It's cheapest by a pretty good margin. I can see I can ship 96 pounds to Homestead, Florida for $36 in this example. So pretty good per pound shipping rate here. Just in case one of these is ever cheaper though, it's good to have kind of the price comparison there. Let's go ahead and continue on and accept those charges. And then on the last step of the process, you're going to see all the different boxes that you've created and go ahead and print the box labels. And you can do that by either printing the box label directly here. That's going to show you that FBA box label here. Typically what's going to be easier though is to press this button down here, which prints your UPS and FBA box labels at the same time. It'll also download it as a file if you want to print it on your standard at-home printer, whatever's simplest for you. Go ahead and slap this on the outside of the box. The only rule is to not cover the seam of the box where they're going to cut it open. Beyond that, you got your 2D barcode on here. This is your FBA box label, and then this is the UPS box label. So you just go ahead and take this to UPS, or you can pay UPS about $6 to $10 through a UPS account to come pick those boxes up for you if you don't want to go drop them off yourself. And then once you've got that taken care of, those products are going to start checking in at Amazon, start selling typically within a week to 2 weeks. Usually everything will fully check in after anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how backed up the Amazon warehouse are. It can get slow around Christmas, that kind of thing. And then your only job in the meantime, while those products are checking in and selling, is to restock those items and continue to find more items to send in and keep feeding the beast. But now you know the entire step-by-step process for making your first or next $10,000 in profit on Amazon. If you want to see some more high-powered sourcing methods, click down below. There's a free Amazon class that we host every couple weeks. We'll show you some live exclusive sourcing methods and a lot more fun stuff. Come ask questions. It's always good to see you guys on the live class. And also, while you're down there, drop any questions that you have right now. Always happy to chat with you guys. Hit that subscribe button if you want to help me out for free for helping you guys out today. But I really appreciate you watching this video. And if you want to watch a full 4-hour free Amazon course, click this video right here.